Lovely. Is there anything that you would like help with in moving the needle? Or are you ready to just...
Life?
Life.
You can move that needle, that'd be
Can
awesome.
we be a little more vague?
I didn't have anything specific in mind. No.
And you didn't need to. Do you want me to see if Spirit has anything, or are you ready to?
Sure. I am a conduit.
You are a conduit?
God, so,
well,
just saying.
I think you should just speak into the room.
Oh, from my conduitivity? My conduitivity? Or my conductiveness?
From your conduitivity, yes. You have to write a poem out of this somehow. Yes, please speak from your conductivity.
Oh, wow, okay. See, you make a joke, right?
I know.
And folk put you on the spot.
Can I say one thing really quick?
Of course,
And
please
completely
do.
interrupt you.
Absolutely.
There's just something here. Can we clear that and
Why
then
not?
go into your conduit? Yeah.
I'm all about being a clear conduit.
Great. Well, you are a clear conduit. See, we're always a clear conduit. It's just, can we always get clearly to that connection? Okay? We're not changing who we are. Who we are is perfect. Who we are is a clear conduit. But are we always aware of that clarity? And starting to move just with that. Has to do with your child. Is there some part where you feel something going, it's almost like feeling like there's some sort of, it's almost like I would give my life for her, and is there something going on where you feel like you have to sacrifice yourself for her, or you have to save her, or you have to, anything like that? Because it's almost like the image that I'm seeing, and this is where, we talk about the divine unknowing, like I see in symbols. It's like cutting your own head off to save her. I know that sounds extreme, and it's not literal, but sure. That idea. Anything come to mind?
Sure. Yeah, to a degree. So, let's see, how to say this. Talk about getting deep. Damn it, you said the deep thing. So my daughter had announced a couple years ago that she's transgender and is, a boy, but is a femininely expressing boy, and she still likes other boys, and she likes dresses, and so it's a super confusing thing. And we did the daddy-daughter thing, like super tough.
Yeah.
Super tough growing up. So I was like, all of a sudden, she's not daddy's little mama all of a sudden, and I can't call her little mama or any of those kinds of things.
Right.
So there is a aspect of respecting where she is, not necessarily writing it off as a teen phase, but just respecting where she is, knowing that wherever she's going to end up is fine. And
can I interrupt you for 1 sec?
Yeah, go for it.
Because a past life came up, and it's, let's just call it intense, so I just want to clear it real quick.
Sure.
So, and what you see me doing is like in the equivalent of my story where I said I was willing to just stand there while the whole song played. It's like, so when you're working with somebody, you want to attune always to make sure you're pristinely on the energy. And I first started seeing something, and then now what I'm observing is they're working with him in a way so that you don't have to know the details, because it has to do with a karma on another level. So if I were to try to describe the details, I would just be anthropomorphizing and not, or making it human, and it wasn't human.
Sure.
But the equivalent is you gave your life for her, and the life that you gave for her to live was not the life she was meant to live. She was meant to live the life that she was living, and you thought that life would lead to sudden death. So now I am going to anthropomorphize, which just means make it human a little bit, so don't take it quite literally, but it's like the equivalent of she wanted to go off to war, and you couldn't abide by that, so you went instead, and you ended up dying, and she actually would have come back a well-decorated hero. Is what she was meant to be. She was meant to be a warrior. She was meant to never marry. She was meant to etc. Right? And you got in the way of that, and you know, that cut your life short, and she ended up, it stalled her progress by substantially. So however that relates to this life, remember we said, you know, you can create a similar situation, so you make a better choice called, like,
It's really interesting.
yeah. What does that bring up for you?
See, what I've been experienced with relating to her now is a flip side of that dynamic that you shared. Like, I'm the one that feels like I don't get to have my daughter anymore because I don't relate to boys like I do girls. And I don't relate to her like a boy, but I can't relate to her like how I used to relate to her either. So it feels like all of a sudden, you know, all the things that I'd had about, you know, having my daughter as she's grown older, like, are just gone.
Yeah.
And that's the life that I don't get to live,
Right.
you know,
Right.
in a sense,
Yeah.
while she's, you know, working out her gender identity stuff.
Right.
And at the same time, because I'm the parent, I'm the grown-ass man, I'm the one who can't make me feel better about what you're doing. You know,
Right.
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
Well, what if you live the life that you've come to live, regardless of what she's doing? And I'm not saying it's easy, and I'm only imagining it must be sad and hard as hell to detach from. It really feels like detaching from her.
right.
And really what you're doing is detaching from her body and her personality and attaching to her soul. Because her soul has chose this. Now, we don't know what way it's going to go.
Right.
We don't know. But what if you give her absolute freedom to be who he is, and what if you take that same freedom to yourself and find the relationship that might be even deeper? Didn't say it was easy.
I hear that.
Yeah.
It ain't easy.
No.
It doesn't appear easy.
No, it doesn't appear easy. And what if there's a spirit, a God-given gift in this for you? Clearing that life, clearing many lives, rising up into who you are as a spiritual warrior. See, she chose you. So you guys know that. We choose our parents. Well, you chose her, knowing that this was coming, or likely. Not that you knew, but your soul sure as heck did.
Right.
So you're the perfect father for her. I know. I know. Yeah. Yeah. Is your love big enough?
You know, it's funny. I didn't really understand commitment, like, on a deep, fundamental beingness level, like beyond question, until I had a daughter.
Yeah.
You know, and then being her father. Like, I was telling somebody about it the other day. It's like, I don't wake up in the morning and say, gosh, am I going to take my kid to school today? Like, am I going to do that? Like, it's a given. I'm going to be the best I can for my kid, because I'm a dad. Like, and that has become sort of the gold standard of commitment.
Yeah.
And so when you say, like, is my love big enough? This is part of me that's like, well, it's not like I got a choice, because it's my kid. And I'm committed to being the best father I can be. So
I think you have your answer.
So yeah, there's not a lot of wiggle room in that answer.
Yeah. No, there's not. So speak to us from spirit.
Oh, that.
Yeah.
I'd forgotten about that.
I know.
Oh my. Well, here's me not moving until Spirit tells me to move, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's interesting. What comes to me is something from Shakespeare. about the undiscovered country, from whose bourne no man returns. There is so much more to this life than our minds can ever say or know or postulate. And that the love that I seek, the love before me, the love waiting for me, the love inviting me, is larger, more dynamic, more powerful, more exquisite than I have language to imagine from the place of fear. The only choice is forward. And the only time is now. The only question is when. But there's no place else to go. Love beckons. And love will not be denied. That's what I got.
Wow. Wow. That was exquisite. You know, I specifically did something with you, and I kind of threw you in the water to see if you'd swim, because I didn't do the like, okay, now do forgiveness, and now say affirmations, and be all. Did you notice I did that for a reason? So he was in process, and I said, okay, speak from spirit. I didn't give him any warm-up, and didn't even have him do a statement of forgiveness. I almost never do that with a past life, because I trusted you and your attunement. And see, in our life, we don't have to do always the whole warm-up and wind up. Now I am going to sit in the lotus and do forgiveness and pull out my clearing book, and then I'm going to speak from spirit. It's like, see, it's a great technique for us. Like if we're in process to just, what's God got about this? And that was exquisite. Wasn't that not beautiful? Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.